Valve have done us dirty again. The diamond coin for Shanghai is going to be the biggest flip yet out of all of the previous majors, thanks to MR12 and best of ones and the silly Swiss system, but we're going to give it a red hot crack. I've consumed a lot of content these last 2 days, watched everyone's pickems, listened to a lot of thoughts on a lot of podcasts, all these experts, all these professionals, and where they think this one's going to be going. But I've got the script, or at least an educated guess of the script after putting together a lot of the results, and then I've done some research. And we're going to be using majors.im to try and print out the results, the script, with as little or lack of bias as possible, but then also give you guys a couple of options so you can shift it up yourself to try and get that diamond coin. Now, there is no sponsor for this video, but I am currently raising money for men's mental health for Movember. I've been doing workouts almost every single day this month. I'm trying to hit 30 by the end of the month, and after this video, which I'm recording at 9:30 at night, I'm going to be going and doing another workout of cardio. So if you would like to support, there's a link down below. Please send your money in for a good cause. Thank you very much. No more chit chat, let's get into it. Now, if you are new here, to get the pickems going, it's quite simple. Just over on the left of your screen where it says Major Championship Hub and Items, click that big square and that'll take you to this page. When you're on this page where my coin is, there should be a Get Pass little button. Click that. It'll take you, you pay Valve money. Valve love your money, but they'll love you by giving you this coin. And this coin goes from bronze, silver, gold, diamond. And if you get the diamond, you're an absolute legend. And that's the goal from everyone so far. So these are going to be the pickems for the opening stage. Once that concludes, you have about 24, 48 hours to get your elimination stage pickems in. And then, of course, playoffs. But we won't get there until we get there. So we are just going to be doing opening stage today. We'll do the others in videos throughout the week. Now, these are the teams attending. Furia, obviously the top rated with the HLTV rating, and then Rare Adam 58th. We'll see who ends up getting there, but this can also be a bit misleading. Fnatic played really well through their RMR, as well as Cloud9 had a pretty stellar run, but they also might have had easier competition. So these are the factors that we needed to take into account while going through these picks. Here are the first round matches for the opening stage. You can see them on your screen. I won't bother reading them out just yet. We'll cover that later. But if you do want to watch along, I will be co-streaming over on my Twitch. That's twitch.tv/MacMate. If you aren't following, go jump in and you'll see us there having a bit of fun over the very long days. They're going to be very long days, especially day 1 and 2. Not only am I using HLTV to have a look at the lineups, the map stats, and all of the recent form and runs through the RMRs for these teams, I'm also using Skybox at the moment, which not only shows me statistics sort of pushed closer together and where players play, depending on the map, I've also been looking at the veto preferences for both of these teams. The cool thing about the veto preference tool on Skybox Edge is when you put them head to head, you can kind of figure out where these teams are going to be playing the best of ones on. I'm seeing a lot of Mirage and Inferno down here. Inferno, pretty decent map for Rare Adam, so you're probably going to see mongolz try to angle this best of one to Mirage, and internationally, they're just a better team. Skybox Edge is very cool. I've used it on broadcast lately and it's mad. You should use it if you can afford it too. That being said, I'm just going to reveal the script. We're going to be going through everything that's happening, but I've used majors.im to figure out where I think this is going to go. Boom. This is what I think is going to be happening. I spent like the last 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours even on this while watching another couple of podcasts and catching up on content just to try to figure out what am I going to do with my pickems, and here it is. Now, I did research on each of the round 1 games, then following that went to round 2, round 3, round 4, etc. just to try to figure out exactly how I think it's going to happen after looking at the Skybox statistics as well as the HLTV statistics and how the teams should be playing up against one another, strength of what I think the veto is going to be, and here we are. I went full nerd. I went full nerd for you guys. So you can maybe trust this. You can also maybe flip a couple of things if you want to as well. I'll give you some extra options for the 0-3s and the 3-0s because they aren't locked in. These are just my preferences as well from what I've seen lately. But let's get into the fun, huh? All right, we're just going to glaze over these as quickly as possible. Gamer Legion, they've got Ash, who's really good at prepping for matches ahead of time. I think that he's going to have a slight edge over Furia. If Furia don't get off to a really good start and start the fumble, then there's a chance that they probably won't even make the major. I don't have them making the major. Game 2, Virtus Pro MIBR. I feel like this one is a bit of a coin flip. MIBR's form looked immaculate, even though their competition wasn't as strong as what VP had to beat going through. The Americas RMR, I feel like MIBR, it might be their time to shine, so I'm going to call this as the first upset we're going to see in these round 1 matches. They just have an insane amount of firepower with Lakowski joining the team, and I'm going to believe it. You know, I'm thinking that this is the South American team that'll make it to the next stage, and unfortunately, I think it's the only South American team that's going to make it to the next stage, but we'll talk about that in a bit. Liquid Cloud9, arguably one of the hardest best of ones to pick here. The only thing that did it for me with Team Liquid over Cloud9 is Cloud9's run to this stage was quite quick, quite easy. The teams they beat weren't that strong in terms of European competition. So even though C9 looked like they're back and they made a nice run, I just don't see them winning this best of one. And that's all it came down to. You can go the other way. You can come up here, majors.im, type that into Google. It'll probably bring up to this page and do this yourself. But these are just my thoughts on the topic. Complexity FlyQuest. I'd love for FlyQuest to win that. I think it's going to be on Vertigo because both these teams seem to like Float and Vertigo. But if FlyQuest aren't in the same form they were at the end of the Asian RMR and they start slow again, then they're probably not going to win this game. They might not even make it to the next stage, which would be unfortunate. But for me, my strategy mentally is if I'm wrong that FlyQuest don't make it to the next stage with my PICKEMs, FlyQuest still make it to the next stage, so I'm going to be over the moon. So I kind of win either way. I'm hedging my bets with this one. Big and Passion UA. Big have been looking stellar. They had a nice run and did it against some okay competition. Passion's competition was a bit more difficult and they've already made it. I have a feeling at this point they might choke. I have a feeling there's going to be a crowd now for this stage from what I heard, and I don't know if Passion are going to be able to do it in front of a crowd. So that's the big factor. Big have done it before and Big are looking pretty good. So big stonks there go up. Fnatic over Wildcard, that was kind of an easy one. Fnatic's run to the major was harder than Wildcard's. Wildcard's run to the major was like I think it was like Bestia and Crew and something else, and they managed to get there quite easily. So I'm happy for them, and I do love everyone on the team, but I just feel like Wildcard might be one of these teams that could even be a 0-3 team. mongolz Rare Atom, straightforward. We already touched on that, looking at the veto. Probably going to be Mirage. mongolz should absolutely destroy Rare Atom every day of the week. Sorry, Kaze, I love you, bud, but today's not the day. Pain and Imperial. I feel like Imperial are going to be the big imposters. I think they are the lowest seed and should be the lowest seed and are going to be one of my 0-3 picks if you look down here. So I just feel like, you know, their run was a very interesting one through the Americas RMR. Probably the softest run we've seen out of a lot of the teams, and that's why they're here. Round 2. I'm going to take a breather, one sec. Okay. Team Liquid, MIBR. Team Liquid have always sort of been a great team against South American teams in this current iteration, and MIBR, there is still a little bit of inconsistency, even though I sort of spoke them up here. I feel like that'll be the upset, first round upsets, more prevalent than second round upsets, and I feel like Team Liquid should have it this time. So, giving it Team Liquid. Cole, GL, I have a feeling that Complexity might choke in one of the best of ones. It could be down here, it could be up here, but either way, Game of Legion, I'm going to put them forward just because I liked what I saw from them at the RMRs. Big and Pain. Big, I kind of got a bit of a hard-on for Big, right? Because Rigon is a GOAT. He's my homie. So if there's any bias here, that's probably what it's going to be. Everyone on Pain, love them dearly, but I have a feeling that they might end up choking through this stage. I could be fully wrong. You can adjust this yourself if you want to try to put them in the 3-1, 3-2 area, but for me, Big goes through into the 2-0 bracket. And the other team, just because a lot of people are saying the mongolz are like this next level team at the moment. Fnatic showed what they were capable of, and I feel like, you know, mongolz still in best of one. The map pool is going to favor them because they managed to get rid of, I think they ban Vertigo, right? They don't play Vertigo. Fnatic not going to be able to go to any of these weird picks, and it's going to be a fun one. I feel like mongolz should edge them out and should be able to take that dub, although I wouldn't be surprised if I get this pick wrong and Fnatic end up winning this in the best of one. All right, now for the 0-1 games. Furia over Imperial. Imperial are imposters. Get them out of here. Sorry, Vinny, I love you, bud, but it just is what it is. Virtus Pro and Rare Atom, similar thoughts on this one. VP, much better team. Rare Atom had a crazy easy run, winning 2 best of 1s to make it to the major. You can say the same for Mongolz, but Mongolz have proven themselves internationally. Rare Atom have not. And even though they've had some boot camps and have some firepower when they want to, I just don't think today's the day. Sorry, boys, get them out of here. Love you, Kaze. C9, wildcard. C9 just looks like the better team on paper and to the eye test from what I saw during the RMRs. So wildcard, even though they did it for Amouranth, I don't think they're going to do it again. FlyQuest and Passion. This one, incredibly difficult. Incredibly difficult. Whoever loses this, I feel like, could definitely just be that team that ends up going out 0-3, depending on who they play in this 0-2 bracket. FlyQuest, they went home. They had rest and resuscitation and relaxation, or whatever R&R even fucking stands for. But Passion, they are here. They are feeling it. You saw how much it meant to them in those videos from HLTV and Bloody Perfect World when they qualified. And they are very sharp individuals. They are very incredibly talented Ukrainian gamers. And I want to see them do well, but I want to see FlyQuest not go out 0-3. So this is a bit of a biased pick, and I feel like if they start slow in the first game of the day, they'll pull their heads in and get ready for that second game. So, boom, that's going to be day 1. Round 1 and round 2, both day 1 games out of here, and then the next day is where people get a little bit more prep time to get ready for those next matches. So think about that. Even with the prep time, I don't know if Mongolz are going to be able to win this one. I don't know if Team Liquid's going to be able to win this one. In the best of 3, they share a relatively similar map pool. And to me, this is like Mongolz. I feel like it's their time to make the best run possible. Going through 3-0 is my pick for them, although you could easily sell me on a Team Liquid making it through. If JKS went through, I wouldn't be too unhappy about that. I would be sad that I'd ruin, both of these picks, but that's just kind of what we got to look at here. So that's why I've gone with the Mongolz over the top. I feel like Liquid might trip up a little bit. They have had a couple of unfortunate hiccups in their runs this year, and I'm thinking this might be where another hiccup occurs. Gamer Legion and Big, even though they've got a little bit of time to prep for this one, again, Big to me with the eye test and the run that they made through the RMRs, they did take on slightly better competition than Gamer Legion did, so I'm putting Big through over GL this time. And that leaves me with Big and Mongolz as my 3-0 picks. You might call me crazy. Both these teams could easily get upset on the way here, but that's what I was saying at the start of the video. This is one of the hardest coins to call. You only need 5, so you can maybe play around with a few things here. If you look at Gamer Legion and Passion both in this bracket, you can put them both in and get at least 1. You could do the same thing, flip a Team Liquid VP, put them both in at some point and have a nice chance of getting that, even if there are upsets in these extra brackets. But let's move on to the 1-1 situation. This is still best of 1s here. This is get off my screen. I keep touching stuff. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Thank you. Still in the 1-1, still in the best of 1s. This is an area where everything is still inconsistent. You never know who's going to win. I can see FlyQuest maybe causing an upset over MIBR, but the problem for me is FlyQuest has historically struggled and almost never won against Brazilian teams. I think they might have won 10% of their games against any Brazilian CS. I don't know what it is, if it's a mental barrier, but they just don't win. Whenever they draw a Furia, a Pain, a Imperial at any given point, it never goes well for them. So I've got MIBR going through over that, just because FlyQuest, I have a feeling that they have a mental block there. Complexity VP, that could go either way. Depending on complexity during the day, they could have an incredible game and trounce over VP, but VP could also wake up on the right side of the bed and use their new form with a little bit more aggression rather than that incredibly slow play style, and just say, hey, you know what, whatever, handshake, let it be Inferno or whatever, best team wins on the day. This is another coin flip, but 1-1, not the highest stakes, you're not going out just yet. Furia Cloud9, again, I feel like Furia aren't going to make it their major, and C9, they've got a point to prove, and they already started to prove that point. Can they do it against Brazilians? Maybe. Time will tell, but I'm going for them because I want to see them through, whereas Furia, I have less hope for them, even though they are sometimes really good, sometimes really shit. Let's just put it that way. Inconsistency in CS2 is kind of crazy. And then Pain and Fnatic. Fnatic kind of sold me with what we saw through the end of the EU RMR. They've been playing against way better competition than what Pain has recently. And Pain's form kind of fell off. Going into Rio, they had a nice run in Cologne in the play-ins. And then didn't really get to show us... Oh, they didn't go to EPL. I think they missed EPL for some reason. So didn't get to see them there. And then when we got to Rio, their run was kind of bad. They just didn't get any damage done. And look, going up against Fnatic, maybe they'll shut me up and they'll get that big win. They'll do it for Bigu and the boys. Snow will be able to make his sticker dream a reality, but we'll see. We will see when we get there. Fnatic just looks better to the eye test. That's it. Cue the sad music. I don't know if I put the music in. If I didn't, then that's just a space. But we got the 0-2s. It's best of 3s. It's elimination for 2 of the 4 teams here. And I told you that I thought Imperial were frauds. So I think they're going to lose this game. No matter who they play against, I just don't see them doing it. They had a nice run last major, but since then they kind of haven't done a lot or sold me on their whole setup. Whereas Passion, they're a project, man. When their backs are against the wall, they've been popping off. They've been proving everyone wrong. And I'm a bit more sold on that story and their gameplay. So to the eye test, to everything, to their run into the major, Passion every day in this best of 3, 2-0 over Imperial. Rare Atom and Wildcard. Even though I haven't said many nice things about Wildcard, I feel like that generally they are just a better team. You know, they are just a better team. They came through 3-0 in the Americas. RMR, their competition wasn't the greatest. We touched on that. Whereas Rare Atom just won 2 best of 1s in their gear, and I feel like they may be one of the freest 0-3s of all time. But if they end up winning this and I get my coin ruined, whatever, man. China CS, I'll take it. I'm happy for Kaze to find some victory. It meant so much to him. He was crying. He's tried for so long to make it to another major, and he finally did it. So it's a huge feels-good story for him to make it back. But if this plays out like this, then Wildcard are just going to be making it, at least to the next stage. And Rare Atom will not be. Rare Atom will be going home 0-3. So Rare Atom and Imperial are going to be my 2 0-3 picks. It looks a little bit crazy, but with these best of 1s, things get a little crazy, all right? And we only need to get 5 of these correct, so keep that in mind. All right, the 2-1s and the 1-2 brackets. The long, bloody long, incredibly long days start now when you got these extra best of 3s and things don't go right, and then there's extra OTs. We had so many OTs through the RMRs, and I'm expecting the same here. But if the script goes right up until this point, Team Liquid and VP going to be playing against one another. I've got them both going through anyway, so I don't think this game matters that much, and then whoever they verse in that 2-2 bracket should be easier competition. So you're looking at these names, I feel like you should be right as rain to be throwing a couple of these in, but I've got Liquid going through over VP just off of current form. Fnatic and C9, same thing. Both of these teams, especially when you're looking at them in the round 1 and stuff, that could end up not in this bracket, could end up in that 1-2 bracket incredibly easily by just, you know, fumbling a couple of those best of 1s. But on paper, I feel like Fnatic's run had harder teams through it, and that's going to be my difference maker. I feel like Fnatic have won against some more difficult opponents than C9 have. So because of that, I put them through over C9. And then Game Legion with MIBR. I can see this going either way as well, like everything, but MIBR, I feel like when they get to best of 3 territory is where they start to hit their stride, because they have more time to figure out their problems. I remember watching them at Kato thinking, this isn't all it was cracked up to be, but since then, and the Americas RMR, they managed to figure out a few things. Lukowski in the lineup was still quite fresh at that point, and now they've had another month and a bit up until this point, and it's looking way better. It looked better at the RMRs. I feel like they're going to be a team that's going through and doing it for Brazil, baby. The 1-2 games are a little bit more difficult to call, only because the form of these teams is more inconsistent. So even though it's best of 3 territory, I still can see things going wrong for all of these teams. Look, Furia and FlyQuest, we already went over FlyQuest struggling against South American teams, and because of the seeding and where all these teams are, like world ranking, etc., FlyQuest end up having to draw a lot of the South American teams. So their run, unfortunately, comes to a close now with this script, and Furia at least are going to get a dub here to go into that next stage. Pain and UA, or Passion UA, this is an interesting one. I don't know who is going to play better, but I'm sold on the Passion storyline to at least get them through this stage. Pain, I'd love to see them making it through into that Elim stage as well, but I think Passion are going to be knocking them out here off of that slightly better form as of late. And Wildcard, I feel like every time head-to-head you put these teams together, Complexity should win. Should win. As long as they're not choking. Wildcard have that upset potential. They have the X factor. But I feel like Cole are destined to at least make it to the 2-2 games. So see you later, Wildcard, for me in this stage. And then the last day of games, round 5, is where things get a bit more difficult again. GL and Passion, both of those teams deserve to make it with how much we've seen from them through the RMRs. Passion, the amount of Counter-Strike they've played this year is actually insane. So I'd love to see them making it to the Elim stage. I'd love to see them doing it for the Ukraine, But Gamer Legion, I can see them having enough prep time just to figure out the weaknesses from Passion, because there is a lot of footage on Passion, so you can exploit that, and I feel like Ash could certainly do that as long as Gamer Legion can hold their nerves together. So I have Gamer Legion going through over Passion, even though I could easily justify a Passion pick here. Cloud9 Complexity, I want to see Cole go through. I do. All of my boys are on that team. But C9, something's telling me that there is some change in the wins. So this is where it really gets difficult. Is this 3-2 bracket when teams come through this 2-2 game? Look, you can tell me Fury make it as well and VP choke, but I'm going to be going with VP. I feel like they just should be there with everything that's gone on for them this year. You know, the combination with Jame and Electronic, it's looking better by the day. Unless it's not. See, flip a coin. You can flip a coin for all this shit. This is the hardest part to predict, of course. You can literally give me a story for why all of these other teams that already got knocked out could potentially be going through 3-2. But these are my choices. I went with VP over Furia, C9 over Complexity, GL over Passion, and this is what my pick'ems are going to look like. Mongolz, big 3-0. Rare Atom, Imperial, 0-3. Let's put those in. Mongolz, boom. Big, boom. Rare Atom, boom. Imperial, boom. It might look easy because they're on the bottom, but man, you can give me an argument for FlyQuest being down here. You could give me an argument for Passion choking in those 0-1, 0-2 games. Same as Wildcard. All of these teams could end up being down here. Even like a GL or MIBR might choke their games with the inconsistency. So everything around here should be going out. No, only 2 can. And then for the 3-0s, look, Liquid, another solid pick, could be up there. VP, another solid pick, could be up there. But I feel like in best of ones, there's a chance that these teams can choke. So VP going through here, Liquid going through, Furia. Sorry, boys, not going to put you through this time. Cole, again, I don't see them going through. Fnatic in there, MIBR, C9. Hey, the game doesn't want C9 in there. I think that's a sign. They'll hate him. And then Gamer Legion as that other one. So these are going to be my pick'ems. These are my pick'ems. I hate to say it because there's so many people I love in a lot of these teams. And it breaks my heart to hit that button. But that is going to be the pick'ems as designated by statistics and the collation of knowledge from other people I've listened to in the community, as well as recent form and what we saw at the RMRs. I am not comfortable or confident in any of these picks, as you shouldn't be either. There is no chance for comfort, and that's why you need to make sure you are waking up early if you're here in Europe. If you're over in Americas, good luck, mate. You're waking up at a weird time. And if you're in the Oceanic APAC area, congratulations, you got the best time to watch these games. But watch along over on twitch.tv/MacMate. I'm going to be losing it. I'm going to be watching this coin either come to me or fall away from me, and it's going to be a fun time. And hopefully I gave you some solid information that will allow you to make these picks as well. Majors.im, head over there to set up your own pick'ems. Do it like that. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one. What are you still doing here, huh? Are you worried as well? I am. I'm incredibly worried. If you're worried like me or confident, press that sub button. I don't know what it's going to help you with, but it might make me feel better. Please. Thank you. Good luck to you.